Welcome to Ask the Professor. I am your host, Professor Ben, and we get together live every Wednesday at 11:45 Eastern so we can talk about all things influence, sales, business, leadership, all those challenges that are thrown at us throughout the week. And we hang out for about, 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer sometimes to make sure we get to all of your questions. And of course, our producer, Ari, is with us, helping us stay on check to make sure we're following all the rules and doing things right. Ari, thank you for keeping us in line. I know it's a really hard job. And we have a returning guest today, Chris, VP of Sales from Augmentt. Thank you for coming back on the show. We've had so much fun with you. You've got the best stories, the best insight, and you're probably one of, if not the best, sales to sales leadership stories that I've seen, at least in a really long time. You've done such a great job leading your team to some tremendous growth. So thank you for sharing your genius and your insights with us today.
Wow. Thank you, Ben.
Genius. You're here, right? Like, as long as you're here. And we've talked about, this is your third show with us. So we definitely appreciate that. And we've had some pretty big success in terms of audience view, audience engagement with you on the show. We've talked about what it takes to go from sales to sales leadership and what to do once you're there. How do you hold your team accountable? How do you have those tough conversations? And today we're jumping into maybe a tough conversation at a lot of our listeners' workplace right now, and that is their CRM, right? How do they keep it updated? How do they make sure that they're actually utilizing it? The pros and the cons of CRM usage from a leadership perspective, as well as from a frontline perspective. So Chris, before we jump in, I'm going to ask Ari real quick, where can viewers find our previous shows with Chris, all Chris's great insights on it?
Yeah, so you can find Chris's past episodes on our website at mybenchmarktraining.com/resources/asktheprofessor. There's tons of great insight in there. I think this is actually Chris's fourth episode with us. So
yeah.
They're so much fun. Like, it's hard to keep up, right?
I know, right?
It feels like the very first time.
Every time.
Chris, you're the boss. Okay, thank you, Ari, for that. So first, everyone who's listening now, hang out with us for the next 20 minutes because we're live. Anything can happen. We definitely want to see your questions. And then when you're done with this, go back and check out the other shows with Chris on there, just like Ari shared with us. So this whole conversation about CRM, and I know it's a hot topic, and Chris, you're very passionate about it. It actually came from an audience question. Is that right, Ari? I think that we saw that question earlier.
Here, let me get that on the screen.
Yeah, let's see. So the audience brought this question up to us and said, hey, we upgraded our CRM last year, which is kudos for you, right? Because there are definitely ones that are better than others out there. The bad news is that he and the team are fighting here, trying to get it updated, right? Trying to get people to use it. So tips and suggestions to help this team fully embrace all the new features and I'm sure the great parts of the CRM that you upgraded to. How do we help them actually use it and take advantage of it? So Chris, that might be kind of a good place to start our conversation there.
Yeah, it's funny, pretty much every conversation that we've had around accountability and moving into sales leadership and backfilling your team, you couldn't do anything without an effective CRM. Like, nothing will work. Like I genuinely believe I couldn't do my job without my CRM. I live and breathe in it. And because I live and breathe in the CRM, my team also live and breathe in the CRM. I had a boss that once said, you get paid your salary to do all of the administrative work, and you get paid commission for the fun stuff like making sales. And at the time I was like, oh, that's a little bit harsh. But the longer in the tooth I get, the more I subscribe to that point of view. It's so important. Like a quick example, before I joined Augmentt, I asked for access to the CRM. And I had about 2 weeks where I was building my own reports and playing around with the data and just getting as much insight into the business. So when I started day one, I already knew who the top performing reps were. I knew who was generating opportunities themselves and who wasn't. And I also had really, really clear insight into what the problems in our sales process were, or at least I had my assumptions around it. And so when when we talk about making an impact coming into a role, like that's how you do it, right? You have the data, you understand where you think the issues are, and you can go about fixing them. So, the work that I did in those 2 weeks allowed me to be really, really impactful in my first actual 2 weeks on the job. When it comes to rolling out CRMs and getting teams bought into it, like I said, you just have to live and breathe in it. You as the leader need to live and breathe it, and you need to be able to demonstrate the value of the CRM back to your reps. So use it in your one-on-ones, using it in your coaching sessions. Like I have the spiced framework in our CRM for every opportunity. And I use that when I'm reviewing opportunities to ask questions. And if the data is not there, then I can't help. There's no way for me to help. And so the rep gets no help, and the rep starts to fail a little bit until they start getting that information in there.
Chris, I'm going to stop you there because I know you've got so much more great stuff, but you've already said so much great stuff. We need to make sure the audience caught that, okay? First off, as the leader, you are living in the CRM, which means that if the sales rep is on point, entering his or her data in there, activities in there, keeping client notes in there, and we'll talk about why that's so important, you know it, you're aware of it, you're not coming back and asking them, hey, whatever happened with so-and-so, right? Because you're seeing those notes in there. And that's a really important part of CRM usage. We hear this from sales team members all the time. The ones that are complaining about their CRM is, I update the CRM, but nobody seems to ever notice. I get the same questions that I just put into the CRM. My boss never pulls reports from the CRM. They don't look at the reports that I pull from the CRM. So why am I spending all my time putting data in there if my boss isn't utilizing it? Now, there is a reason why you should, all the sales professionals out there, even if your boss doesn't. But bosses, sales leaders out there, if you want your team to commit to this, putting data in there, utilizing and maximizing the CRM, Chris just hit the nail on the head. You've got to own that data. You've got to live and breathe the CRM data as well, so that they know it's important to you.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely a key factor. In fact, Chris, before we leave that topic, Ari, one of the first X of expectations of accountability is model expectations. Right. So Chris, every time you get into CRM and you add notes to it, or you're utilizing those notes for your one-on-ones, you are modeling the expectations that you want to see from your team. That is absolutely altering on CRM usage and effectiveness. That's kudos to you on that.
Thank you. I think, it's funny. You brought up a really good point. I can't help my team unless the information's in there. And if I'm asking for the information, then what good is that, right? And there at least the frustration on their side. But if we're getting predictive and we know the information that they put in there, that allows us to be really, truly helpful, because we can spot the gaps. It always helps to have a second or third set of eyes on there. So the more people that have access to the information, the more help you get on deals, the more deals you win, the more successful we are, the more likely you are to, one, make a bunch of money, and two, have more opportunities open up for you. It's just one of those things that the more you use it, the more impactful it is, at every level. And one little tip that I have for CRM adoption is, as a salesperson and as a sales team, you should be living in the CRM. Not every department has access to that information. And something that I've done at every company is have an automated email go out for every one opportunity. And you can have a little field in your CRM saying big shout out to, or whatever you want. But as the sales team, you always get the kudos, right? It's kind of feast or famine. So if you have a bad sales month, then you hate your life a little bit. The next month, you have an amazing month and everyone's patting you on the back. But if everyone is sharing in your success, then you start to build this critical mass across the company where people get really excited about the opportunities. And it also forces your sales reps to put really good notes in there, because they know the CEO and the chairman and the support team and the engineering team and everyone is going to be reading it.
So that kind of brings up, you skipped one, but I love it. So it's like, let's make sure that others in the organization have access to the CRM. right? The more embedded it is across departments, the more necessary all that information is. So even if it's something like, Chris, what you just said about kudos that go out when you hit that closed one, you change categories to close one, and it's going to go out to all the VIPs in the company and everyone in the company. That's a great little dopamine shot there for sure. Not to mention now customer success, operations, they're in the loop. They're going to be able to have a successful handoff from sales to the ops side because of your notes, because of the work that you're putting into the CRM. Makes it very relevant. So leaders, if your CRM is not accessible for those in operation, it does kind of isolate the sales team a little bit, right? I got to put all these notes in here, and then I have to go do a debrief or a handoff. What if the operations team could access it directly? Now it's more important. And in fact, I have seen the organizations that have the best success, I'm talking 99% accuracy and usage, are the companies where ops can access the CRM and utilizes it for the initial handoff.
Yeah.
A huge part right there. And then you also touched on this part too, which is, as a salesperson, what's in it for me? Like, okay, I get it. My boss wants to see the data in the CRM. That's fine. I'll make sure my boss is happy. Or the information does connect with the rest in operations. That should be enough for every sales professional out there, because this is a team effort, right? And the organization does well. We do well as sales professionals. At the same time, we're human. We want to know what's in it for me. And so as a sales professional, by keeping your notes accurate, keeping your activities and your reminders accurate in CRM, you're wasting less brain energy on trying to keep up. And you're able to put more of that into your prep and into your connections and into your prospecting for your clients, right? So huge value there of keeping your CRM updated so that you don't have to keep that stuff stored in your head. And Chris, I don't know if you've heard this before as a sales leader. I've heard this, unfortunately, too many times. And that is, you know what? I have such a great memory. I don't need to put, you're like, oh God, I don't need to put notes in the CRM. I remember all my sales calls, right? Or I know all my follow-ups, or I just kind of pencil it down in my personal, my personal reminder here. If you're able to keep your pipeline in your head, your pipeline is not big enough, right? You're not going to be successful in sales. Your pipeline should be so robust, should be so overflowing with the right prospects that you need some sort of automated system to help you keep up.
Yeah, and it's the details that win deals. It's not that you remember how the call went, or you remember their dog's name, or whatever it is, right? Like it's the details, and you gotta. There's no way anyone's ever going to remember all of those. You have to document them, and you have to do it right away. Like, if you wait till the end of the day to update your CRM, then you've already forgotten half of what you spoke about. So you gotta do it immediately. And to expand on your point, Ben, like, what's in it for the reps? If you're on an island and you have all the information and you're keeping it to yourself, then it's your fault when you lose a deal. And it's your fault when you're not winning any deals. But if you're documenting everything, then it starts to identify trends in why you as a company are not winning deals. Is there some sort of product functionality? Is it InfoSec? Is the pricing wrong? And the people in leadership positions will look at that information and go, oh my God, we just need to change this thing, and suddenly we'll start winning more deals. And they'll be able to look at the trends across every rep as well, and see how we can massage things to make everyone successful. But if you're not all putting the information in there, then we're just going to assume that you're not doing your job.
And absolutely, because you can't do your job. Like, to your point, you can't do your job if you're trying to just keep as much as you possibly can in your head or on scratch pieces of paper and that kind of thing. So we have to utilize that information in there. So it sounds like what we're hearing here is it does take leadership, right, to model those expectations.
Yeah.
And then to very clearly go to the team and explain, like, this is what we need. And Chris, you said this, like, if you're waiting till the end of the day, think of how many times you've heard salespeople say, oh, I update my CRM every Friday.
Oh God. Yeah.
Every Friday I spend 2 hours. First off, if you have 2 hours to spend all at one time, not talking to customers, not prospecting, that's not good news, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to remember your sales and the details that Chris is talking about from Monday and Tuesday or Wednesday if you're trying to upload and update your CRM every Friday. You're missing the point.
If there's one topic when it relates to sales that I'm really like super passionate about, and maybe a little stick in the mud about, I would say it's CRM, because it's so crucial to people being able to do their jobs. I mean, again, another example of what's in it for them. You lose a deal, you might have lost it because of timing or internal politics or any number of reasons. And if you don't have that information to hand, how are you going to know who you should be prospecting? How are you going to know what the issue was in the last cycle so that you can win the deal the next time, right? Like it's so crucial. And I gotta say, being like just a power user in the CRM has made me better at my job and has saved my ass so many times. Like so many times. It's so important. If you keep your team accountable to it, accountable to using the CRM, then you're gonna do so much better. It's just so crucial. I can't stress it enough.
And let's bring up, because I can feel and hear your passion about CRM. So my guess is some people in the audience might be going, okay, well, this guy might be like a data nerd, or he really wants to, he loves living in spreadsheets and reports, and that's something that the audience needs to know about you from a DISC perspective. Is that you're actually not the report guy, right? No. You're not the person who wants to live in spreadsheets. You can do it, and you do it really well. I've seen your analysis. It's mind-blowingly really good. At the same time, it's not like where you want to spend six of your 8 hours a day, right? You're doing it out of necessity. You're doing it so that you can help the team stay on track. You can help the team improve where they need to improve. And so even if sales leaders are not the data people, right? If they don't want, this is not about living in the spreadsheets. This is about taking real life information that's happening on the field and being able to use it in a way that's going to help us improve, it's going to help us minimize weaknesses as an organization, and help us stay on track.
Yeah. I'm an IDS, so I'm there's no C, right? I don't love getting into details. I don't love that part of my brain. I find it hard to use. But I've skinned my knee enough times that now I know I have to use it. And also, being an I do care about my people. I care about them, their success, and them buying into things. And so I found that using the data and making it valuable to them has helped them buy in and help them be successful. Every single one of my team has their own dashboard that's built on the KPIs to help them be successful. And that's all we look at in our one-on-ones. Are you doing all of the right activities? Is everything green, or is everything red, right? Or, yellow? Where do we need to work? And it's so helpful. And the thing I will say is, I made this mistake early in my career. I was boots on the ground. I knew all the problems in the CRM. I knew where everyone's frustrations were. And I spent weeks working with operations and sales leadership to change the CRM to make it work for the sales team. And we did it. Like it was amazing. But I'll always remember walking out of that room and doing one of those, going, "That's amazing, guys. We solved it. It's going to be great," and getting laughed out of the room. Because implementing a great CRM that's useful for your team is great, but not iterating on that CRM is a recipe for disaster, because your business changes, your team changes, the market changes. You've got to keep up with it.
Absolutely. It's a living, breathing part of the organization, just like the team is themselves. And it should follow through with what's happening day by day, not week by week or month by month. Because once you're out of it, like you said, you could spend a whole 2 or 3 days in a workshop trying to get it updated, and a couple hours later, it's already out of date, or definitely a couple of days later, it's already out of date. And as leaders, we've got to model those expectations. And then think of the last part of accountability. The last X in accountability is inspect what you expect. So using them in those one-on-ones, showing them that the data is going to be helpful to them, so they know where to improve and how to improve. Are they going after the wrong people? Are they taking too long in between stages? Where are those opportunities? It's going to be right there in the CRM as long as they're utilizing it on a regular basis.
Yeah. Spot
So,
on.
man, Chris, I feel like we should be getting some sort of like commission from the CRM world out there because there's so many of them. We've done a good job promoting them, but they're important, right? They're part of sales leadership. They're part of being successful in sales. They're part of the entire success of the organization because it's what's happening on the front lines is right there in the CRM. So for those new sales leaders out there watching the show, or for the sales leaders that sometimes need a little kick in the back of the head to get back up and running again, is let's make sure that we've got the right data in there, right? Let's live and breathe in the CRM as leaders. Even if you're not the spreadsheet person like Chris is not, that information is going to be helpful for you with your team. Salespeople, there's a lot of value to you. Even if your boss is not in the CRM like he or she should be, there's still so much value to you utilizing it for yourself. So make sure that you stay up to date with that. And then if we really want to get the CRM to be the lifeline of the organization, or at least the sales organization, connect it to those outside of the sales organization so that they can see what's coming down the pipe, what's going to be handed off to them, and have the same background, have a seamless transition from sales to operations. All of this happens in the CRM, and it starts with leadership.
Let me say one final point. Connecting all of the internal teams using the CRM so they understand the customer journey intimately helps you win deals. The more connected and the more information everyone has, the better or the more seamless of a customer journey that prospect is going to have, and they're going to trust you. And trust is so crucial to being able to sell to people. So if everyone is saying the same thing and they're not getting into a meeting from sales to sales engineering, they get on a call with the sales engineer, you go, so what are we talking about today? They have that information at their fingertips. They will trust you. They will understand that you know what you're doing, and they will more than likely buy.
Chris, you just gave me PTSD when you said that phrase. So what do you want to talk about today? I've heard that on calls that I'm shadowing. I've heard that from people complaining about their vendors. That happens. Like salespeople or customer success actually gets on the phone, pulling the newfound customer off their work into a call, and they start with, so what do you want to talk about today? Yeah, we need to start a campaign to make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, it should never happen. It's
oh my gosh.
People put their trust in you when they buy a solution, and they bought it because they expect a certain outcome. And if you're not connected as a company and you can't articulate that the entire way through, then it's a complete disaster.
Absolutely. Hey, Chris, believe it or not, we are way over time on our 20 minutes, so we do have to let everybody get back to work.
Yeah.
Can we get you back on the show? This is your 4th time. Can we get you for a 5th time? I think you've got so much leadership genius that you got to share with everybody.
I'd love it. Absolutely.
Okay, that is fantastic. So when we come back, we'll have Chris on the show again. Yeah, you guys heard it here, and just spreading that insight on sales leadership, moving from a salesperson to a sales leader, and what are the things that we need to do to make sure we keep our sales team growing and hitting their numbers. Chris, thanks so much for being on the show. Everybody, thank you for your questions and your engagement. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.